So I went from having an amazing hand to a hand I'm a little not sure about because I think I'm going to get shoved on here uh, a pretty huge amount. And maybe I should have just went for a check call. It's so funny. I think I'm going to fold here with a hand as good as this. Because what does he have? He must have higher. He doesn't have any other bluffs here. Does he turn a hand into a bluff? I don't think so. I've been in this spot a lot, and I just don't think that happens. So I'm going to fold a super huge hand there. And here we are closing on that table. So we won't know. That's a bummer. I could have just totally gotten bluffed. I mean, huge possibility. I don't think so. I don't think that guy does that. Here in this spot, I'm going to raise. Right? I mean, am I going to raise and just take my equity here and get it in? I'm going to try to do that before a hand like Ace King improves, apply some pressure to a hand like that, see how that goes. So I don't know if I just rip here or if I try to go for overcalls. I think I go for overcalls there. I mean, his donking range, I don't know if he has a strong donk fold range there. You know, my EV gets pretty high on later nodes. If I hit my nut flush, I can get it all in at any point, really. It'd be really frustrating if one of the hands that he was donking there was a hand like King 9. Doing a standard c-bet on table 1. I guess I mean, you know, with a full house, I would just call here too. No need to raise. And so now my hand is not really worth much. Hopefully a chop showdown. Down here, this nice board, I'm going to value bet, and he snap folds, so it doesn't matter what size I chose there. I chose a larger size. So I can't imagine any of these guys have a 9 taking a line like this. I mean, that would be crazy. So, but they can't all have aces too. Wow, I win. All right, I'm not used to tournaments. That's pretty wild. 10-6. That guy had absolutely nothing. And a very loose turn call. That's hilarious. Okay. All right, well, this is a $30 tournament. I don't usually play that. Getting a little bit more comfortable here with what is going on. And the speed of all this, I think, should be pretty good. Recommended on 3/4 speed on YouTube if the tables are moving around too quick. You can always pause to see some of the stats when I pull them up, or the board or whatever. I won't defend at this stack depth against a certain player. I think I can choose two sizes here. And in this case, I think I'm more inclined to wanting to fire 3 barrels against this player. So I'm going to start with this size, which may give me a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more room, and get him to call a little bit weaker on earlier streets to get him to fold later should I need to. Plus, should I hit when I do hit that flush, I want to have more money, and, you know, I want him to be involved later on in the pot. I really don't know any tournament under the gun ranges at any real stack depths, but I want to play any hand I can pretty much with this purple tag here. Uh, Even if I'm under the gun, I think it's probably going to be worth making a raise. I'm not sure if I can rely on gun clouds here to bet, and I think getting a bet in on this board is really important, three-way. So I'm going to do that here myself. So we're going to utilize position a little bit. I'm actually kind of curious here to think about a raise. He must assume that I would have. Oh, a raise would be so interesting. And down here in the tournaments with fives, there's so much showdown value and against this player that I am going to just try to get to showdown against him. And so he hits his 7, which is kind of how we played the hand and what we were expecting. We were certainly to be ahead of his donk range and then see what happens on the river. Here we have a draw. We're not optimistic that our jack is best. We can be extremely certain of that now, that he would 3-bet a hand like king queen. He'll probably check here to us a lot. I mean, the hands realistically that he's most happy about. You know, he could be check raising that lower straight, hands like 9-10. The 2/3 sizing on the turn. I wonder if he's going to try to just do a block polarizing size here. What bluffs do I have here? Do I have any bluffs? Would I turn my hand into a bluff? I wouldn't turn that many hands into bluffs. Should I go for all of his stack? Is he going to call some? If he check raises me all in, I mean, so be it, and I lose, that's fine. I'll pay the price of that, but I'll bet something here. That river for pretty much any bet size would be a fold too. He just wouldn't have enough other bluffs in his hand there. So I would fold that jack. I mean, he would have to be pulling an extremely sophisticated bluff there or to try to push me off the exact same sort of hand, which I don't think he would be doing. I'm a little tempted to bet this. If I had a backdoor heart, I would do that. You know, it puts these guys in a tough spot, and by checking here, I'm just folding. I mean, I'll just bet. You know, it's my one chance at really winning this pot, which I think is a good one, and I think they're in bad spots. And I think a large bet is good. So maybe we can get one through here. Some probability this works. All right, I think this guy's range is going to be significantly punished here by polarizing bets. I think he's going to want to call with a bunch of hands, and I think we can get a lot of bets in here. Maybe I should have sized down on this one. But so I'm going to just keep betting here. The 4 shouldn't help any 2 pairs. It certainly helps 6-5, but I think he probably only has 4 combinations of that. So I think I'm still betting against a lot of Queen X, a lot of 9-10, even 8-9s. I think he's peeling. If he has a 7-6 now, he's happy about that. His tough decisions right now, he's thinking about what to do with his 8Xs. All right, well, I'd much rather have a hand. I'm not going to fold this, obviously. I'd much rather have, I'll take obviously this. This is beautiful. This guy's never check raise semi bluffing, so I hope he doesn't have 6-5 here. I'm hoping now this is 8-7 or 8s, a hand like that. I obviously still lose to 2 hand classes, both flushes and straights. I don't think he is, 6-5 is a very narrow. Flushes, I don't think he check raise semi bluffs. So hopefully I'm beating his now other values with the rivered set. Wow, he wrecked me. Interesting. So I could have also then 3-bet all in there on the turn as an alternative way to play that line, but I feel good about that. Good on him for playing that aggressive. I didn't think he would have those flushes there. I could probably put another raise in here, which I'm interested in doing. I think he may just be doing this too lightly, and he's going to be inclined to give up instead of firing a turn river barrel. So instead of me just kind of raising there and narrowing his range down too much, I think I can still use position a little bit longer and take advantage of a smaller pot. Because here, check this out. Yeah, exactly. So as long as he doesn't check raise me all in again here, which would be a pretty solid move. Stuff I'm repping kind of narrow. I mean, I can have a ton of queen 9s. But most likely, I don't think he has anything there. I'm going to see if I can isolate this guy with the smaller sizing with nines. Maybe I should have made it slightly higher, 8 or 9 BBs pre-flop, because I certainly don't want to face a 4-bet. That really kind of screws me here. So this guy wrecked me before with some good check raise semi bluffs. I do not want to have that happen too much here in this hand. Now I don't know how much equity I want to give him and how much I want to deviate from any sort of lines that involve anything more than kind of betting here, which is far more standard. But if he's prone to bluff a little bit and I want to get to showdown, what I'm going to do is maybe give him a little bit more rope and maybe bet a little bit less. And now here a bet is mandatory, I would say, to protect, maybe get some value from stuff. And he's got me a little gun shy if he's thinking about it. I could have gone for a bigger size or bet the flop. And now here I am doing this on the exact same thing when 6-5 could be a straight again. And fours, I mean, a better player would try here, but I mean, we have about right sizes on the stacks, and I guess I have the button, but what the heck, I'll do one for the boys. All right, we miss. The reason I'm not optimistic about fours is because I believe that he's a very, very likely to fire a c-bet here, and so now I have to defend across a couple streets. And now I'm in this spot where I probably have the best hand, and I'm looking at, obviously, this draw here that I'm interested in. It's pretty unlikely for him to bet. I just don't know what size. I'm going to bet here. And I guess I'm committed now. I guess I kind of goofed if he check raises all in, but I don't think he has a check raise all in here. All right, so that went well with fours. I'm glad I called. Wow. That's a fun hand down there on the tournament. And a very, very bad beat. Rub insult into injury. The straight flush. He likes that. I don't know if King High can show down here. And I don't know if this guy overfolds. I should probably be bluffing here. I mean, he could be pretty wide. It's hard for me to represent a lot of stuff, but I'm going to bluff, hoping that he doesn't have that. But, I guess I could have check folded as well as an alternative, but I think there's some chance that he does fold. I'm going to continue now to apply some pressure here after taking this line. He can continue with a lot of turn diamonds, turn draws. Me checking back that flop, or checking that flop with my middle pair, gives me a lot of showdown value. Is a little bit disguised. I think that 7 is annoying. It's probably better for this hand to bluff catch because there's not as much I can value bet against now. And we just have to hope that somewhere he has enough naked ace of diamonds, kind of things like that he's going to bluff with. And instead, he's all nutted up. I should 3-bet here most of the time. If we're going to play a little 3-handed, though, I'm going to have to call some because obviously the best guy, just left the table. I don't think I'm going to play this guy heads up, but we can finish out this hand here with a bet. And I believe we have, again, a better bluff catcher. This guy can't now be nutted up. He can certainly have straights, though. I was free rolling. This guy probably has to be pretty strong. I'm just going to call here with my queen jack. And here, I'll just bet. And we can sit out there and check. With the 8, it's nice I kind of block the 10-8. He could have a lot of queen 10s, 9s, other things that are still going to check call again. Backdoor spades are unlikely given that, it's just like a jack probably would have heard from that sooner. Any jack obviously is back at most likely spades. So I got to have a value bet here, right? But what is he bluff catching with? He probably can't be that strong here, so maybe a smaller size to force him into calling a little bit more. I should probably fold this. Is he bluffing 1/3 of the time here? Maybe with a hand like king queen. Good on him. I'm going to try this with ace five. It's a little out of line. It'll be interesting to see what this guy keeps. Is it an ace? No. Oh, just a six, and he doesn't raise. I was wondering about that. All right, so this guy keeps an interesting range. We found out that he kept that ace checked back a few hands ago, and this one he won't raise the six when I guess he's worried about just me having a flush there. All right, it's good we got that out of the way. This guy is very volatile. I think we're in a good chance to get our money back from him despite being at opposite ends of the table. going to try bluffing here. I can now show down against this guy for sure. I'm just not sure the best way of getting there, but starting with a check, I mean, seems natural. And this guy, I mean, my hand is only good for one bet here. It's whether I get some more money by putting a bet in. Does this guy ever bluff here? All right, so I save money against another king like that. That's good. He doesn't value bet better there. And this guy snapped at this. Hopefully, I'm not going to play this hand any other way. I want to see all the cards. I don't want to make this a three-way thing. I'm just going to put the money in here. There's some chance that he has a bluff range there. Kind of interested in trying a bet here, but I'm not going to. I have this other one off on the side I'm going to bring in that I raised a limp, and I'm just going to start firing there. Same thing on a blank like that. I'm going to put another bet out there, apply pressure to him. Here, three-way, my hand, I'm actually kind of interested in putting a bet through here. And here, that's a really kind of brutal river. He could be floating a lot of even top pairs now. The flush obviously got there. It's good that I blocked 9-10, but obviously that is crappy. What we're hoping for here is that he has 7-6 and wants to show down, but most likely he's going to be betting here if he's any good. Now the question is, I do block a lot of nines. How often does he have a flush here? How often? We expect all better hands to be raising, right? So are we good here? 1 in 5 times. Maybe he has a 6. Like an ace 6. All right, these things happen all the time. Sometimes we win, though. Against an under the gun, I mean, he probably doesn't have an ace here, right? I wonder if I can win this with a raise. Probably not. Do I have 10 outs here and are they worth calling for? Can I get paid much? Maybe, who knows? But I'm going to fold that. And here is 6-4. We're just going to show down there. We're not going to win, obviously. That's okay. 9s with our overpair here against this guy who we think is looser and a poor player. We're going to bet. It's a good question as to whether raise or just call there to let that other really fishy player in. I'm going to check here because the 9 is tremendously good, right? If he has 6-7, we don't want to knock him out of the hand with a big bet there on the turn. What can I bet here? We'll just try a big bet, see what happens. And we could try a 4-bet here, but we'll just try a call to start. And gosh, this is interesting. My hand's definitely not good. My draws are very weak, but I think I'm protected by these other people behind here. I'm just going to call and see how this hand develops. And is a very clear range C-bet. With my queen jack, I got a little spicy there, playing my button. Now here, top pair, top kicker against this guy who should not actually be betting that board that much, and the 10 is the absolute worst card in the deck. Oh man, that's a bad card. I'm not interested in really raising here for fold equity. I like this price that I'm getting right now. Man, that 10 is the absolute worst card in the deck. That is brutal. That is hilarious. He's playing exactly like he has Ace King. I'm so high up in my range. This could just be terrible. mean, this could be absolutely terrible. I have a note that says this guy will check call wet rivers. He shouldn't have bet that flop, and the weird sizing looked like an awkward ace king. Whatever. That's probably horrible to fold ace queen there, especially heads up. It's probably criminal. So I can't call here, obviously. I'm just going to fold. I don't think I can bluff there. There's likely that there's like a king jack there behind. We're going to fold these fours. We put that c-bet in there to polarize, and for him to do that against us, he could be semi-bluffing a lot for sure. But we're okay if he is kind of... We don't want to play this out of position now against potential aggression. And we're just not optimistic without the diamond. Maybe if you have the diamond there too, then we obviously call for some backdoor equity, and we treat the hand a little bit differently. Folding 8-7 there. Just, I mean, there is a short stack behind that could very well shove all in. I'm not sure I really love that. I'd rather just save what would be my blinds and antes instead of play a hand that I'm kind of optimistic that I'm going to win. And no matter what, I mean, you best not miss has to be raising some sort of value that is better than 5-3 suited here, because even if he's trying to raise this a little light or whatever to keep me protecting my hand against playing Philly Scott, 5-3 is just a little bit too far down for a range that I want to be doing, because he definitely has some sort of value for sure whenever he does that, even if it may be kind of lightish value. We'll try this to see if a check raise works, and since it doesn't, we'll just kind of go for it now. I don't know in a tourney if this is like the one time where this could be a call, and I'm maybe good enough to defend this and play. I'll play this guy. I don't want to three bet and waste that many chips. Um, it's only like two more BBs. I probably should have called there. You know, I have the jack here. A bluff would be so slick. The king helps my range here a lot. I just don't want to bluff these many chips in a tournament, and the only bluff I would ever do here would be all in. Does he ever have ace jack and is doing this to me? I mean, I have the jack blocker. I can't win if I don't bet, but I'm just going to give up here. I don't know if I would have to go all in, and he would have to make a big fold there. Which I have him marked as like a donk, and I don't know if he does fold that. Probably, maybe. Tough to say. This is kind of crazy. Not. Oh man, I have to three bet this. Got to three bet it. Interesting. By doing this size, I only kind of afforded myself the third flop. And maybe I should have polarized there. That's brutal. I'm going to get kind of caught here, caught speeding if I go and continue here. That 8 is a bad card for me for sure. At least now by checking it, I'm making it known that it's a bad card. But I think this guy's actually kind of strong here. I don't think he's float bluffing me here. Man, that's frustrating that I didn't turn something a bit better for me. This guy made that horrible play I thought before opening king five and then calling with king high, but I don't know. Does that mean that my ace eight is really good here or really bad? He has been three betting a bunch. I'm not going to put my whole buy-in right there on with ace eight. One of my best chances of winning right now is pre-flop, so I'm going to try to do that with eights just to pick up the money in the pot. It's significant. It's not great that this is an under the gun open limper. He probably does this pretty often. It's an amazing flop for me. What would I do here with like aces? I would probably bet large. You know, unfortunately, nines are maybe potentially a significant part of both these guys' range. And I don't know how many jack tens, suited jack tens that they're playing. And it's a mandatory, I think, that I slow down here. Hopefully another nine doesn't fall. That's a 10 is a little bit frustrating. This guy does not look like he's one to bluff. I'm going to get called. If he has a better hand here, I lose to all those things anyway. If I just ship, maybe he somehow calls worse. Seems unlikely. But I don't think he's going to bluff, and I think my hand still deserves to get value. Yes. So we can do something like that and get paid. All right, so let's see how we improve here with fours. This board dramatically favors him. It's actually one for his range. He shouldn't overextend too much. And he should put some checks in. I don't know if this is the kind of person to do that. I don't know if the bet means that he's so strong that he's at the top of his range, which is unfortunate, which is top pair, top kicker. And now, look, obviously he's even stronger. Check raise is not going to get him to fold. I really need to have him be barreling worse here. That is somehow a hand like a jack 10 of spades, other spades. Only because I have equity and expected EV. Oh, that's so interesting. That is crazy. Can I shove my hand now and turn my hand into a bluff? It's kind of wild. I'm supposed to be calling here with some frequency, but what bluffs does this guy have? Maybe a lot. Maybe that really crushes all his combinations. I'm just going to fold there, though. We have to fold this now, unfortunately. And unfortunately, we have to call here too. We played these kind of bad. I mean, this guy's wrecking us, right? I'm playing this horribly. I'm having just a horrible moment here. No, I can't even call that.